fantasy football season approaching, here's a few running backs I'd look to avoid entering the 2025 fantasy football season. The first running back, Javonte Williams of the Dallas Cowboys. Williams, I know he's only 25 years old. I know only a few years removed from the torn ACL, but he didn't really have much interest in free agency when he signed with the Dallas Cowboys on a pretty cheap deal in the offseason. So going into the year, he should be the favorite as the number one running back, even though reports have come out that there's no favorite between Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and the rookie Jaden Blue. And last season, like I said, it just wasn't much going for Javonte Williams in a committee over there with the Denver Broncos. 139 carries, 513 rush yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. He did have 52 catches, which is a solid number, anywhere from 40 plus catches per year at the running back position. Solid 346 receiving yards and 2 fumble losses on 7 targets. But now in this Cowboy offense, obviously with CeeDee Lamb trading for George Pickens in the offseason, and also Jake Ferguson signing a contract extension at the tight end position, I don't think we're going to see much of Javonte Williams catching the football out of the backfield, where last year it was pretty much Courtland Sutton and Javonte, the 2 top options in the passing game for the most part for the Denver Broncos. I know his ADP ain't crazy. He's going into the 11th round range of Javonte Williams. But like I said, with all those weapons on Dallas, and Williams in between the tackles hasn't been great over the last couple seasons, even though, like I said, he's coming off a torn ACL. He's just a running back I would avoid, and I don't think there's much going on with him entering drafts, and it just might be a committee you don't want any part of entering the season. Next running back is Joe Mixon of the Houston Texans. Mixon last season, he got off to a good start. Then he got banged up with injuries, but he ended with a solid year in his first season with the Texans. 245 carries, 1,016 rush yards, 11 touchdowns, 36 catches, 309 yards. But I believe Joe Mixon's prime's over, and he's in the latter part of his career. Once a running back hits the late 20s, early 30s, besides if you're a Derrick Henry or Emmitt Smith going back years ago, these guys fall apart and the numbers go way down. So like I said, Joe Mixon last year was a good year, and he hasn't practiced at all in training camp with the foot injuries, Joe Mixon, and who knows if he'll be available week 1. So the backups over there as well is Nick Chubb, Woody Marks, a rookie they drafted, and Dameon Pierce, who's been on the team a few years and who was a starter for a couple seasons as well for this Houston Texans team. So right now, Mixon, he's going in that 6th, 7th round range, but he's not really a running back I have a lot of confidence in with no training camp. And with this foot injury, and last season as well, he had foot and ankle problems. Joe Mixon, maybe, like I said, the best years are behind him, and he definitely fell off in the second half of the year after he came back from injury. I know he was decent in the playoffs, was Mixon, but like I said, in the regular season, he fell apart towards the second part of the year. And at his age, he's going to lose a step as well. So right now, Mixon a running back. If you want to draft him on your bench or maybe second running back, that's fine. But like I said, I think the decline's going to start happening. And already with an injury in training camp isn't a good sign. Next back, Caleb Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, we know he likes veteran backs in his backfield and good pass protection running backs. And Caleb Johnson, his pass protection isn't that great, and we saw him in preseason for his first game, 8 carries, 20 yards. Preseason doesn't mean much, and he added 1 catch for 6 yards as well as Caleb Johnson. But there's other rookie running backs I'd rather have going into the year than Johnson. Ashton Jeanty, obviously, I have him in the back end, first-round pick. Trevion Henderson, Amari Hampton, R.J. Harvey, those rookie running backs I'd rather have on the roster this season than Caleb Johnson. And Jaylen Warren, he's still there. I know Warren, he's not an in-between-the-tackles back, but one of the better receiving backs in pro football is Jaylen Warren. But like I said, with a veteran quarterback like Rodgers, we want max pass protection and someone with experience. I think Warren, in the early going especially, is going to get more work than people lead on to believe. And right now, Caleb Johnson, in most drafts, he's going 5th, 6th round range entering the season. So like I said, I think he could be decent this year as Johnson, but he's not a running back, especially ADP-wise. And where I've seen him go doing all these mocks over the last couple of weeks, that I would invest 4th, 5th round pick in is Johnson. So he's someone I would avoid because of the ADP more than anything. Next back, Tank Bigsby of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this could be another running back room like the Cowboys, where it's running back by committee. They got Travis Etienne, got Bigsby, drafted the rookie Bashal Tutin, as well as this Jacksonville Jaguar team. And the other thing is, well, with Bigsby, he don't catch the football at all out of the backfield. So if they're trailing early and often, is Jacksonville a whole lot Obviously, Bigsby, he's going to lose that. Also, we know Trevor Lawrence, he's a decent rusher of the football. And when you got two wide receivers like Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, who obviously they traded up and got in the second pick overall in the NFL draft this season, Bigsby, he's not a main priority on this offense for this Jacksonville Jaguar team. So with the many factors, them trailing, it's going to take them out of running the football, where Travis Etienne and Tootin are better receivers out of the backfield. And also as well, with the great weapons in Thomas and Hunter, this team has a lot of speed and they want to utilize that. And Travis Etienne overall, I think, is just a little bit of a better back. Even though I know last season 168 carries, 766 rush yards, and 7 touchdowns for Bigsby. Well, like I said, in the passing game, a non-factor, only 7 catches, 54 yards on 12 targets. Right now, he's going back into the 7th to the 8th round range as Tank Bigsby. As a backup back, he's fine, but if you're going into the year with him as your number 2 running back, I won't count on it. I know he had a couple of games here and there last season, but anytime there's a committee with possibly 3 running backs getting opportunities this season, it's just something I don't want to really touch on my fantasy roster and let someone else have the problem and play the guessing game week in and week out. Who's going to get more touches in that backfield than the final running back, Dylan Sampson of the Cleveland Browns? So Sampson, he's been jumping up the draft boards over the last couple weeks now with the Jukins off the field issue. And also the other thing with Jukins as well, he's still signing his rookie contract regardless. So Sampson, he's getting an opportunity now with this Brown team, but he definitely jumped up for a guy who you would have got 12th, 13th round a couple weeks ago, and now you see him going 9th, 10th round range in some of these mock drafts is Dylan Sampson. So out of the backfield, not much of a receiver. Jerome Ford is still there as well, where Ford, he's carried the load a decent amount over the last couple of years. When Nick Chubb was injured last season, even the year before, nicked up a little bit. Jerome Ford got work for the Cleveland Browns. And also now this season, I think he's going to be the favorite going into the year in the running back room. I'm sure Sampson will get some work, but like I said, where he's going now, 9th, 10th round range, where a few weeks ago, 12th, 13th round range, I'd rather take Jerome Ford than Dylan Sampson going into the year. Like I said, he's a 4th round pick. I know some 4th rounders over the years got into some backfields and put up numbers. I just don't see with this Cleveland Brown team, and this could be a team trailing a whole lot this season with Joe Flacco most likely going into the year as a starter, where they got Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, the top 2 wide receivers, and David Njoku at the tight end position. So like I said, Sampson, I don't think the ceiling is that high. A lot of rookie running backs drafted this season, but 9th, 10th round, I'm not going to pay that Sampson, where who knows if he even has much of a role in the early going this season, and he doesn't do anything till the second half, where he wasn't a big-time prospect to begin with coming out at the running back position. So that's a few running backs I look to avoid entering fantasy drafts in the next few weeks of the upcoming 2025 fantasy football season.